Hello again and welcome to the video number 3. Today we will make a new casting material which will be a wire loop, and later on we will make a new casting material template which will be applied to all the sandwich walls at once, and at the end we will have a short look at the production drawing. Before you start drawing a wire loop, you have to go to your supplier company and check all specifications with the right measurements, and then take a polyline and start drawing 2D model, right sizes like a plate, and then we will be making with the solid functions in AutoCAD a 3D model, and out of 3D model we will make a casting material in our database. So I take my measurements, I draw some additional lines to indicate the thickness, the right thickness of the plate. In this case I will make it 3 millimeters thick. Now we draw the inner shape. And don't forget to close the polyline. Now to make it easier, we make two viewport configurations, so we can see a 3D model and 2D. And now we will take an option extrude and we bring it up 20 millimeters, according again to our specifications from the supplier. I want to subtract the inside sphere, so I just delete it with a subtract. And I will draw a base for the plate. Again, close the polyline and extrude several millimeters up. In this case, I make it 2 millimeters because our supplier has a specification of 22 millimeters for the wire loop plate. So that's how our wire loop plate base looks like. Now we will try to draw a wire. So basically I want to indicate the right height of my wire as a reference line. And then again with polylines I draw the shape I want to have like. You can use some additional commands like copy or mirror or rotate and have the same shape or line. Now I just move it. I take a circular line and draw the ending of the wire. And now it's done. I join them together with a command join. And I can see that I have just one piece of polyline. Now basically I have to draw the shape for my wire with the right thicknesses. So my thickness will be 4 and later on 8 millimeters. Now I have to rotate it because it has to be 90 degrees with the wire shape. I have it done with the rotate. And now we will sweep according to the path we have just made. I take the shape I want to sweep and the path. Confirm. And we can see that we have our 3D wire loop done. Now we just basically have to join two shapes together. But before that, I will draw the locker for the wire loop. Basically, just draw one half of the element you're making right now, and later on we can just revolve it with a revolve command in AutoCAD. So we take it, then we mark a polyline and specify the axis and how much you want to have revolved your element. Now what is left is that we have to join those two details together with also the right measurements from the specification company. So we make a union before we do that with a locker and a wire loop. And then 3D rotate, I select the element and I choose the axis I want to rotate according to. Once it's done, I have to move it to the right position. On the left side, you can see the 2D view. So basically, you can modify your move command to have it in the center. Because sometimes it's very hard to see everything in 3D and it's not the right view to be sure that your element is fine. Now I'm trying to rotate the wall element. Delete some reference lines you have made before. And I will draw a polyline to see actually how my wire loop should be standing like, because my supplier says the exact dimensions for and measurements for the wire loop, so I have to follow them, and that's why I draw polyline as a reference line. Now when it's done, I can join elements together and I make a union. And our 3D model is done. It wasn't so hard. You just have to make it in the right measurements and use the right tools in AutoCAD. And now try to center your insert in the origin line. So you can mark origin line before you make. And now we will make new casting material. So I give a name and try to describe it. In this case, it's wire loop 80 PVL. And now select 3D in the symbols and select the wall element. After that, specify insertion point, and AutoCAD will ask you if you want to make another views out of that view. You agree, and now you have all your side and front and top views in your database. Check everything is right and give a reference again, which will be shown on a shop drawing, and save it. Once we have done that, you can go and check it, and we will import our project because I have done it in another project. So I have exported to Sports Hall, and I go back to my project. I can see it. Once I have casted material ready, I can make a template. So I go to templates and make a new template for this wire loop casting material. So I name it PVL80 and describe it a bit. Now I will place what kind of casting material I have. First I choose the end cap I'm going to use it for. It's the straight end cap. Then I place a casting material and what side I want to have.
and it will be placed on a side B in a wall. I see that I have to rotate it 90 degrees and place it in the right position so it fits in my end cap. And then you can describe a bit of the treatment. In this case, it has to be covered. And then placing in a top, bottom, left, and right. In a setup 1, I don't have any end caps in a top and in a bottom, so I just place zeros. But I have some on the left side, and the first will be placed 200 millimeters from the top and the bottom, and then the distance between others will be 400. In a setup 2, I basically describe again the distance from the top and the bottom and how many inserts I want to have. And we do the same with the right side. And in this case, I want to have 3 inserts, 3 wire loops in my casting materials. Now I have for one wall, and I will make another for the other end cap, which one I just made. I choose the same casting material, rotate it, and indicate that I will use it for side A, and place it according to coordinating system. You can also describe a treatment. I just double check the positions. Yes, and the positions are right, so I confirm with OK. And now I will apply the template. So I can basically select all the walls at the same time. And select the template you want to use it. It will take some time. And then we say with the same element mark, we can go to the 3D view. Of course, it takes some time to place all the casting materials. We have 6 casting materials for each wall. And now open 3D view. And you can see that in the corner for this end cap we have 3 casting materials, 3 wire loops, and the same with the straight connection.
And now it's done. We can basically create a new shop drawing. So create a new, generate, and click on open shop drawing. Now you can see in a shop drawing that we have on the left side 3 wire loops and 3 wire loops on the right side with the right measurements that we have stated in our AutoCAD command apply templates. And also you can see all the end caps we have in our shop drawing that we have created before and applied for our element. And also in the casting materials, we can see that we have our created PVL wire loop of 80 millimeters and the treatment we have stated.